All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Today is May 29, 2024, and this meeting is for our LJ Realty team. And let's get started with our interest rates. According to Freddie Mac, the interest rates were around 6.94 as of last week, compared to 15 years, 6.24. Anything in sixes sounds really good, but for your Mortgage News Daily, they're saying as of yesterday, the interest rate went back up to 7.28. So that's your national averages, really depending on your top scenario, right? We have even our new loan officers, they usually ask, hey, could we really offer this rate? Yeah, as long as your client qualifies, as a top tier. What does that really mean? That means that their credit scores is really good, 780 or more. They're putting in down payment 25%, which is very rare, right? Majority of people would want to go with 20%, 15%, 10%, as low as possible. But if you can be on top tier scenario, then you can get this. And you have to live there. This is going to be your primary residence. Okay, these are some of the factors where you can get this mortgage rates, really depending on your situation. Okay, so today I want to give you an example of a person or household income of $95,000, and we have a really good program for this household. They might think that they don't qualify for much, or they really want to go with FHA. I'm going to show you guys how we can take this client and give them a conventional option with this income. So their income is 95,000. Their down payment is around 100,000. They have no monthly debt. Today's interest rates are around 7.28. Property taxes 5,000 and property insurance 1,500. So with that being said, if they were really comfortable and they want to find a house, they want to be really comfortable making that payment around $3,400 monthly mortgage payment, then the home price that they should be looking at should be around $518,000. But we know that it's really hard to find a property close to 500,000, but maybe close to 600,000 is going to be more reasonable, especially in Queens. So at 49% ratio, your DTI, they can still find a house for 587. Okay, the mortgage payment is still going to be less than $4,000, and they can go with a conventional loan option. Okay, so if someone is making $95,000, they might be discouraged that, hey, might have to go with the FHA option, but not is not the case. So look at, this is what we call a area median income. So this was recently increased. So, more people can qualify for home ready. More people can qualify for, bigger properties if it's needed. So where it says 80% area median income, it needs to be below 95,000. So $95,440. So this example that we're giving you, this household is making $95,000. So they qualify for home ready. So what is the benefit of home ready? So it is a loan program. It is a conventional loan program, right? So if it's a conventional loan program, why wouldn't they want to go with this? They need to make sure that their credit scores are 620 or more. Their down payment, here's the key here, is a conventional loan program and is asking for only 3%, not even 3.5%, right? FHA will require 3.5% upfront cost, upfront fee, but now with this home ready. So your client is coming out with $95,000 as income with everything else, and they want to purchase a house that's going to be close to $600,000, right? They can definitely qualify even in today's high interest rates, okay? So if it's a home ready, the good thing about this is that even though they're putting down 3%, as soon as they hit 20% equity, their mortgage insurance will go away, okay? But since this is going to be a new program for them, right? This is going to be, most of them is going to be a first-time home buyer. They do need to do a mandatory home ownership education. Some of our clients for the mortgage side that have done it, some of them do it within few hours online and just provide us with the certificate, right? So it's a good thing to do that home ownership course anyways if you're a first-time home buyer, because you get to know what really goes on and what are the responsibility of buying a home. Right, since this is a conventional, it's a really good program because it can be your primary or it can be your investment. So again, anybody that's making less than $100,000, there's so many articles out there where saying that, hey, you need to make $100,000 or $130,000 in order to afford a house. Tell them we do have programs where you are making less than that, let's say 95,000, and we can put you in for Home Ready or Home Possible program, right? These are conventional loan programs. So there are some. I do want you to have a clear idea what are the pros for FHA and what are the cons for FHA. So our loan officers, they know this inside out. But I have heard it from our realtors. Hey, I just feel like FHA is better. Yes, it has pros, but it also has cons, right? So as long as you have a clear picture, hey, so when you're having a conversation with your clients, you can tell them, hey, for FHA, these are the facts. These are two things that you really need to know. One, if it's a pro that you're looking at good things about FHA, is that if you have lower credit scores, you can qualify. So for conventional, we need 620. For FHA, we need 580 or more. So you can definitely put down payment. Basically, the whole America knows this, that for down payment, you can put down as low as 3.5% for FHA, right? Those are the pros for FHA. So what are some cons, right? Number one is going to pay almost 2% addition to if you were to go with conventional loan. So why would I want to pay 1.75 upfront mortgage insurance for FHA? If I have both options and one option is not telling me, a conventional is telling me I don't have to pay this upfront cost, but for FHA it does, why would I want to go there, right? So people who are really going with FHA is the ones that have credit scores below 620, okay? Your mortgage insurance. Some people think that, again, my mortgage insurance with FHA will go away, right? There's two parts to that, and I want you to understand this. So let's say your client is putting down 3.5% down payment. Their mortgage insurance is never going to go away. They have to refinance at some point. So, but if they do put down 10% or more, let's say they put in 10%, 12%, 15%, then the mortgage insurance goes away, but after 11 years. Right? So these are big ones. Why would I want to pay almost nearly 2% upfront cost? Why don't want to get rid of this mortgage insurance? Right? Those are the two big factors. If I can avoid those, going with conventional, why would I want to go with conventional? Okay. Another con about FHA is that you must live there for at least 1 year. You have to live there for a year. Right? If you don't, that will be a violation. You might be penalized, and you might have some negative effects on that. But you must live there for 1 year. Okay. So what are some pros for conventional? Right? Number one is that you don't need 20%. Right? How many times we went over with our realtors, but hopefully you're having the same conversation with your clients. Hey, you don't need 20%. Right? If you do put down 20%, there's no mortgage insurance from day one. Right? Because you're already putting in enough money from your pocket, 20% or more, no mortgage insurance there. If, let's say if you go with Home Ready and you put down only 3%, that mortgage insurance will go away once you hit 20% equity. Okay? So I want you guys to understand that part so you guys can tell your clients. Another pro about your conventional is that you can live there or rent it out from day one. Let's say you're at the closing table, you just closed, and you already have tenants that's going to be living there. It's perfectly fine. It's going to have less restrictions than FHA. FHA might tell you, hey, you need to fix this, you need to fix that, you need to upgrade this. They just want to make it more favorable for the client. But for conventional, if there's something minor, they might ignore it, really depending on the lender. Okay? FHA has more restrictions. For conventional, you can go with jumbo loans, right? Let's say you're looking for $1 million property. You're looking for a $1.5 million property. You can definitely get conventional loans with higher loan limits. Okay. What are some cons? You simply will not qualify for conventional if your credit scores are below 620. If it is above 620, I want to know what is going to be my conventional and what is going to be my FHA options, right? If everything else is the same, why would I want to go with FHA? You should not go with FHA unless you really have to, okay? Because of that mortgage insurance that we said. Okay? All right, guys. Any questions between FHA and conventional? Okay. All right, guys. So let's go to some headlines here. According to these news outlets, the housing prices soar in all-time high in March. Are the home prices stopping? This is throughout the United States. They're not. Some of these areas are only having increase of maybe a few $1,000s. Some of these areas, like we've seen in New York here, where they're already overpriced. So they might be coming down a bit. But because of your supply and demand, we're not seeing that as a data. We're seeing more every month. The home prices are going a bit higher than the previous one. Okay, higher income buyers are still very active. People who are ready to go, they have their money, they want to, they have enough down payment, they just want you to show them the properties, right? They might be reading an article or two, but if you keep showing them properties, if they're interested, if they're qualified, they're going to go for it. Obviously we cannot force anyone to purchase a house, but we can guide them, we can show them and let them decide. Okay. And this is just really sad headlines here too, that realtors and real estate agents are fleeing the field. Is it good for the home buyers? If people are going to be leaving the housing market and not renewing their licenses, just wait until September. We're going to see that when all the new invoices come out for MLS, and maybe from our agency and other brokerages as well, we're going to see maybe 10 to 20% people are not deciding to renew their license, not pay the MLS fees, because they just feel like they're going to have a harder time finding clients, convincing them to work with them as a buyer's agent, right? But everybody that joined so far, all you guys are experts. You guys already know how to deal with buyers and sellers and everything. There's no reason for you to not renew your license, and you better stay in the game for the long run, right? If we can make it in this tough time, we can make it in easier tough time when the interest rates actually drop. Okay. So some first-time home buyers are not buying until mortgage rates drop. Simply put, you can show them all the property and they say, hey, I'm just going to simply wait. That wait could be a long wait, right? We're not expecting the interest rates to drop dramatically anytime soon. So will we ever see 4% mortgage rates again? The 4% mortgage is unlikely to return at any time soon. Okay, realtor.com experts and others, I've seen many other articles, and they're saying very similar thing, and we feel the same way, that by end of the year maybe the interest rates will be around 6.5, right? So your monthly payment from 7.28 today until 6.5 might be a few $100s difference, but if you're going to wait 1 year, you're not going to be building equity, right? If the interest rates do drop to 6%, 5.5, maybe in 2 years, 3 years, you simply refinance. Okay. People are just getting used to what we used to get. If it's not 7% rates, then 6%, right? People simply want the rates to drop because of their monthly mortgage payment. They just can't afford it, or the property that we are showing them is too small, and they say, hey, why, I'm renting a bigger place right now, and I'm fine there. To those clients, we can't do much. Okay. Here's another one, guys, that more than half of the home buyers don't shop for mortgages. So if they go to one lender, let's just say they go into a direct lender, maybe Chase Bank, TD Bank, Citibank, doesn't matter where they're going, and they might not even go to another broker or another agency just to even shop around, right? But here's the key here: 45% of those who actually compare the rates found a better deal. So nearly half of them, going from one broker to another, they're getting a better deal. So you should be guiding your clients that, if they come to LJ, great. But if they go to TD Bank, Citibank, and Chase, and they're comparing 3 rates from them, that's good for them. As long as they're getting, you should be telling your clients, hey, I want to think the best for you, right? What is the best situation for you? I highly recommend that you go to 2 or 3 different loan officers and find out how much you qualify, what kind of loan program are they giving you, what does the loan estimates look like. Compare the actual loan estimates, right? Not just saying, hey, what he said, what she said. It got to be written. It has to be a loan estimate. Okay. If they do compare them, tell them they can save thousands and thousands of dollars because we are all competing for their business. So if they go to 2 or 3 different lenders, they can definitely save some money there. Okay. So as a realtor, you should be saying this when you're showing them the property. Hey, I'm showing you this property, but when the time comes for your actual application, maybe you already have a pre-approval for one person. You don't have to stick with them. Okay. Next, we have some research from NAR here. With the supply still limited relative to demand, 27% of the homes in April sold above list price. Again, some of these prices, the listing price has a strategy to it, right? And I highly recommend we do this, that list the property on the lower end so you can have more people viewing the property, and you can go into a bidding war and actually go under contract fairly quickly. Okay. And you can see here this was another search that home showings were up around 3% year over year. So we know that 3% is not huge, but that was your national average. But just in the Northeast, this is where we are, 26% increase. So more and more people are showing properties, and I want you guys to be part of that, right? Show as much as possible. And where do we stand with this NAR settlement for $418 million, right? Where are we right now? I just want you guys to understand the following. The buyers are expected to enter into a written agreement to the real estate agents, and it may be optional for the seller to pay the buyer's agent. Okay? One is that we need a written agreement. Two is that it's going to be optional for the sellers to pay the buyer's agent commission. And we will not see those commissions on MLS. Okay? As long as you understand those 3 changes, that you will be fine for, when they actually kick in around July or August. Okay? Next is that 39% of the home sellers are planning to move into a bigger home, right? And 33% are downsizing. So who's going to be, moving to a bigger place? People who are trying to grow their family, or having, maybe they had a new baby, or, new family member added to their household, and now they need a bigger space, right? On the other hand, if it's going to be somebody that's going to be, good morning, Sclaren, you're going to be downsizing. Why? Because maybe the house is too big for you. Maybe your kids already moved out, and maybe you're going through a retirement now, or you just want to move to a different place and you just need a smaller space. Right? We need to understand these things. So when we're talking to our sellers, ask them, hey, what is the reason that you want to sell this house? This is a beautiful house. Why you want to sell this? Right? I need to know the reason. Are you moving anywhere? Right? So this way you get some personal touch from them, and they feel comfortable that you're asking the right questions. Right? And this is to all the homeowners out there. It could be realtors who own a house. It could be anybody that actually has a mortgage. So if your mortgage payment, whatever the mortgage payment is, you want to round up every month. So if your mortgage payment is, let's say, $2,200, $2,275, or $2,225, you want to round that up. So before we were telling you, hey, put in extra $200, $400. If you can do that, that's great. Maybe you can throw in lump sum money towards the principal. That's only if you're comfortable doing that. But nobody has a problem, or less people would have a problem just adding $50 or $25 or $100 to their mortgage, and especially in the beginning stages, right? It's going to have such a positive effect that you will realize it in the long run that, hey, my years are being cut down, and I'm building more home equity over the years. That's my profit. So if I'm spending a $50 extra towards this, it's going to have a positive effect, right? I'm going to be paying less interest, and my year is going to cut down. So will that $50 make a huge difference? Not only if you make only one $50 payment, but if you start making $50 every month additionally, for sure you're going to see some, years chopped off your mortgage. Okay? So you want to have your clients, especially after the closing has been done. Maybe the loan officer told them, maybe not. You want to tell them, hey, your next goal should be to pay off this mortgage. It will not happen overnight, but you would need to go through this process of making a little bit extra payments. That's going to go towards your principal. All right, guys. So a lot of people have issues with closing cost. So we want to tell you guys that there is a way for the closing costs to be reduced if your client qualifies. So this is what we call LLPA. What does LLPA stands for? Is loan level price adjustments. So let's say your credit scores is bad, right? You will pay a little bit higher interest rate. Let's say it's going to be a investment property, right? So since it's not primary, you're going to pay a little bit higher interest rate or higher closing cost. So these are your loan level price adjustments. We can waive all of this, right? You can get rid of this if your client qualifies for the following. Number one is that it has to be their primary residence, right? They have to live there. Two is that they have to go with the conventional Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan. It could be any conventional loan. And they must be a first time home buyer. Who do we consider a first time home buyer? As long as you have not owned a property in the last 3 years. So let's say you bought a property in 2018 and you have sold it, and now it's been 3 years, you would qualify as a first time home buyer. But you need to make less than your area median income. So in our area here, Queens or Long Island, is around $143,000. Okay, so that it did go up from 139 to 143. So how could your clients save on closing cost? There must be this must be a primary residence, must go with a conventional loan. They must be a first time home buyer, and they need to make less than $140,000 as a household income. Okay, so what was the reason for this? The main reason for these waivers was that a moderate income buyer with like maybe 640 credit scores and 3% down payment will get the same rate if they were to have 780 credit scores with 25% down payment. So the government is trying to level the playing field for low and moderate income buyers, where they have 640 credit scores instead of having 780. Okay, so this is a huge game changer for your clients, and we want to see more and more clients qualifying for this. So as soon as when we're working with them from our mortgage side, we're checking this off, see if we can qualify them for this LLPA waivers. Okay. Any questions, concerns, guys? Just feel free to speak up. Last week we went through this down payment assistant loan program with UWM. I just want to give you as a bullet point that your clients can qualify up to $15,000. It is not free money, but instead of them coming out with 3% down payment, and they also need to have come out with 3 to 4% closing cost, they might just use their closing costs, but their down payment can be added to the loan. Okay, up to $15,000. So they must be a first-time home buyer. They need to make below 80% area median income for this loan assistance program. So the credit score needs to be 620 or more. They're required to have a home ownership education program, and they will get a loan up to $15,000, which will be a second loan, compared to the first one they will have. The first one will be the mortgage payment. Let's say it's a $400,000 loan, and then they will have another $15,000 loan sitting as a second lien to the property, right? It must be paid back, but only if you're going to refinance or sell the property. Okay, just remember, this is a good helping hand when some of your clients are surprised. Hey, I had no idea about closing cost, or I had no idea that closing cost would be $20,000, $30,000, really depending on their situation, right? But with this is that, hey, you would qualify as a down payment assistance program and go from there. Okay. Any questions on this, guys?
Yeah, good question.
Yes.
Do they have like an income requirement for them to be qualified, or it doesn't matter if they have like high income and stuff like that?
No, for this program, the $15,000 down payment assistance program, they need to make below 80% area median income. So below $95,000 in our area. If they're making less than $95,000, they would qualify for this. Okay. This piece right here, the LLPA, for this one was that if they want to save on the closing cost, for that one, they need to make less than $143,000. But for this down payment assistant loan program, they need to make less than $95,000. Yeah. You're muted. Go ahead. You're unmute, Just. Go ahead. Okay, I don't think you guys can hear him for some reason. I'm not hearing him there, but he's saying that's a good point that 620, right? If your credit score is 620, then we do need your area median income to be below 80%. If your credit score is 700 or more, then the income does not matter. Okay, so that's a valid point. If your credit score is above 700, then your area minimum income requirement will be gone. But you still have to be a first time home buyer and you still need to take your home ownership education program, right? Another question that we get is that this $15,000, right? Will it be have some payment plan after, I pay off the first mortgage? It's gonna be a really rare chance that you would have a person getting a mortgage for $500,000 today and pay off in the next 30 years. Majority of them, if their interest rates drop, they would refinance that. So they would pay this $15,000 when they refinance. If they were going to sell that property, let's say after 10 years, when they sell that, they're going to pay off the first remaining mortgage they have and pay off this $15,000. Okay. In rare cases, if they were to not take any action and let that first mortgage ride out for 30 years, once they pay off that 30 years of mortgage, then this $15,000 is due as lump sum. There's no mortgage or any payment plan for this 15,000. But again, it's going to be really rare cases when we take it all the way up to that. But way before that, it's going to be either refinanced or they're going to sell that property. Okay. So if your client, guys, needs some, if they ask you for down payment assistance program, please guide them to us and hopefully we can help them out. Okay. Next, guys, this is a new property right in our neighborhood. It's a 40 by 100 lot size, listed for $460,000. Again, it's listed on the lower end. I know for sure, even if it was just a lot, right, there was no property on it, 40 by 100 property in Queens here is going to have a higher price. So this is a 40 by 100, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, listed for $460,000. Who is this good for? This is good for your investor. So if you have any investor in your KV core, you should be sending them this property, right? So what are they going to do with this property? So even though it's listed for 460, most of them will go with a cash deal, and maybe they will go all the way up to $600,000, right? It might be more, but let's just go with $600,000. They're going to use as a cash deal. Most of the time, they're going to knock down the first family, right? That one family that they have, they're going to knock that down and they're going to build a brand new 2-family. To build that 2-family is going to be at least $400,000. It might be 500, it might be 600, depending on which contract that they use, what type of material they use, and all that good stuff. But it's going to be at least $400,000. And the closing cost for this investor is going to be around $50,000, right? Give or take. It might be more, it might be less. This is a cash deal. There's no mortgage recording tax, which is around 2% saved there. So when he wants to sell that property, or when she wants to sell that property, they bought it at $600,000. They invested $400,000 to it, and the closing cost was $50,000. So they're looking at around 1.1, right? And they want to sell it at 1.4. Some of these properties that we're seeing with the same specs that I'm talking to you about, they're listed for 1.6, but they're not selling as quickly as they wish they would, right? But 1.4, 1.5 is going to be a reasonable price to resell it at. Okay, so you want to be part of that deal. Why wouldn't you? You could get 2 deals out of this. If you have an investor, send them that property today. Depending on your luck, maybe they like the property and they want to invest. They provide a cash deal. So since this is a cash deal, you don't need a pre-approval letter. All you need to see is the bank statement showing their name or their company name with that balance. How about if they have 2 or 3 different bank accounts? As long as it's under the same name and they add up to your offer. So if the offer is $600,000 and let's say they have 3 accounts, each account have around $200,000, it's perfectly fine. So we have that $600,000 offer with their proof of funds. They purchase it, you get that deal, right? So maybe you made 1%, 2% out of that. But now since you found on that property, you got to stay in touch with them because it's going to take them maybe a year, year and a half to actually knock down the first property, rebuild it into a two-family. And if you're not in connect with them, whenever they're ready, they might go with another agent. If you want them to repeat with you, go see the progress when they're actually knocking it down, building it. Go be part of that deal, so when the time comes to resell it or relist it, it comes back to you. And now look at the price. If it's listed at 1.4 and you get 2% out of that, you do the math. All right, so this is a really good property for your investors. 40 by 100, fully vacant. Highly recommend that you guys send out this listing through KV Core. Okay. Few new listings from our agents. This is from AP, listed on 127th Street as well for 1.1 million, 6 bedrooms, 3 baths. Please go ahead and support the man and see if you're available to go see the property. If you don't have any clients, go see it for yourself, and maybe you'll think of some clients that might be interested in that. Okay. We have another property by Serbjeet here, and this is in Long Island as well for 925, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. Okay, huge lot size. And the last one, this has a price reduction. He also has an offer already in, but I highly recommend that if you have a client, please do show this. This is in New Hyde Park, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. Okay. So some of you guys are interested in expired listings. Hey, Lucky, I just want to know, where do I find the expired listings? It's very simple, it's straightforward. It's in your MLS Stratus. So once you're logged into your MLS Stratus, you want to click on listings and search. Okay. Once you click there, first by default, you see new search. This is where you can type in the MLS numbers, and then you have other fields here. You want to click on predefined searches. Okay. These are predefined by MLS, so it's really good. So you simply going to click on that and look for just expired. On the next page, you're going to type in whatever area that you're looking at. Let's say whatever, you can do it by zip code or county or areas, and you should be able to get all the listings that just expired on that. Okay. So you could do a lot with that. You can find out open houses for public, for brokers, recent and closed. So if you really want to be part of the game, you got to play by the rules. You got to, check out whatever is happening on MLS, what expired, what's coming on new on the market, who has an open house, and what recently closed. Right. And next, guys, some of you guys are really active on social media, which is great. But the only thing with social media, guys, one, obviously we said, the logos and everything that we have to add, but please only advertise your own listings, right? If you don't have your own listings, especially for rentals and everything like that, please don't post it for another agent, right? It makes it really difficult when the property is not even listed by you and you're advertising it there. Okay, so any listings that you want to promote online, it has to be yours. But there are other ways that you can promote yourself and bring value to your clients. One of them is through your building a squeeze page from KV Core. So what is a squeeze page? It's just a URL depending on the criteria that you're going to pick. So in your KV Core here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th icon here, and you're going to click on build squeeze page. Once you're in there, maybe I just want to do a market report. So maybe I want to do a post on social media for any area or county. For example, I was using Valley Stream for this example here. So let's say I want to bring some value to the clients for Valley Stream. So I'm clicking on market report, putting in the area for Valley Stream, and that's it. That's the only thing I did. Market report, put in the area, and then click on generate link. Okay. That's how simple it is. It gives you 2 URLs. One, it gives you the long one, direct link, and the second one it gives you is a short link. Highly recommend that you use the short one, and then you post it online. So it could be coming from Sclaren. Hey, check out the market report for Valley Stream, updated May 2024, and then put in some hashtags. And you can do it for Brooklyn, you can do it for, Nassau County, Queens County, anything that you want, any area that you want. So what does your client actually see when they click on that link, right? One, they're on your website, right? Because you created from your KV Core is going to your website. So that creates a new lead for you, right? So it tells them, hey, how many homes are for sale in the last 30 days? Did the inventory go up or did it come down? Right? There's 216 homes in Valley Stream. Okay, fine, that's good. If I'm looking for a property in Valley Stream, 216 seems reasonable. Let's try to look for a property there, right? Next, you can see your market average. Hey, if I'm looking for a property in Valley Stream and I have no idea about Valley Stream, I can see, hey, what is the average home price there? What is the average sold price there as well? Right? What is the listed price average and what is the sold price average? Okay. I can see the most expensive houses there. Maybe I want to get to know the area. I can see what's the most expensive area, property in that area, and what are some popular listings. KV Core already knows, it has the data, to see, which property is getting more attention, and maybe it's priced right, maybe it's fully renovated. God knows, right? You're sending them one link. From that one link, they're going through and navigating through, and you have no idea which client is looking for which area. But you're just shooting in the dark online. But you're doing it through market report. Test it out for next couple of weeks with different areas and see what kind of response you get. Okay. And the last here, you can see that your recent listings. Hey, these are the most recent listings on the in that area there. Okay. And these are the most recent sold listings. So again, if I'm looking for something that's going to be around 650, I would click on this and see, hey, for 650, what can I buy in Valley Stream? So that is the idea when we're trying to promote different areas on social media. Okay. So guys, the easier way to do this is going to be in KV Core, going to your lead engine and clicking on build squeeze pages. Okay. And click on market report and go from there. Any questions, guys? Okay. Again, guys, next was that 7-day agreement from Zillow. We're going to be talking about this for next couple of months, maybe a year or two, because that's what we're competing with, right? If we can learn from them, and we should know what is going on with our competition. So Zillow is offering 7-day agreement from to their clients. So what are some key points there? So this Zillow's touring agreement is good for 7 days and does not include any fees. So why would they even do this, right? They're just trying to see that, hey, if this client and this agent can actually tour together, at least see one property together. It could be one property, it could be 5 properties, but within those 7 days, right? Does not include any fees. If a buyer wants additional services from the agent and would need to work, then they would need to work out on a separate and more comprehensive agreement. Right? Any negotiation of compensation should happen after both meet and feel ready. What do you guys, don't think of you as a realtor, think of yourself as a buyer. Is this a good idea for them? Absolutely, right? Instead of saying, hey, Rupinder, let me sign an agreement with you for 1 year, and maybe after that, you're gone. I'm trying to reach you and you're gone. On the other hand, Sheldon says, hey, sign this agreement with me for 7 days. No fees included. I just want to see, what we can tour and everything together. If you do like a property, then we're going to, after those 7 days, we're going to come up with a new agreement. This is what I'm asking for, right? So this is how Zillow is going to be stealing a lot of business, right? Because every new home buyer is going to be saying, hey, I'm going to test out this agent. I'm going to test out that agent. I'm going to test out this agent before I actually go ahead and go with the agreement, with a long-term agreement with anyone, right? So as long as you guys understand what we are competing with, when you're talking to your client, I guess, you would understand their situation. What options do they have? Okay. This whole comp is going to be gone in next few months. So let's get ready for that. Your presentation, guys, some of you guys are already coming to the office. We're working on a few of you guys on their presentations. You guys want to modify, it's perfectly fine. A standard one will be uploaded on our ljagent.com realtor tools. Okay. When you're presenting, when you're talking to your clients, right, you could be having your own presentation, but just mention who's going to be involved in a real estate transaction and when do they come in to the game. Tell them, hey, we're trying to buy you a house. You don't need an attorney right now. You don't need a title company right now, right? You definitely don't need a surveyor right now. You just need me to find new properties. Once I find new property, then we would need an attorney. How much the attorney would charge, all these things, all the common questions, or that your client might have from your experience, you want to write them down and practice that. So when you're talking about home inspection, you want to give them pros and cons. You want to tell them the whole 9 yards and not be biased in any way. You want to think for your client, hey, I think that home inspection is very necessary, right? Even sometimes it is a deal breaker, right? But I want to be transparent with you that, hey, even if it's going to be a deal breaker, that means that that property is no good for you, right? This is going to be you're trying to buy a house. It's going to be your biggest purchase of your life. And I don't want you to screw that up over a home inspection. So we'll find you another property that does not have as many issues as this property, right? The attorneys, when do they come in, how much they would charge, you would tell them that. When would the appraisal, when would we order the appraisal, how I'm going to protect you, overbidding through a appraisal contingency, right? If we can have a gap between the appraisal, maybe 30,000, 50,000. All these little things are going to help you get that client's trust because you know what you're talking about, right? When you talk about title company, you have to use the word clear title. Say, hey, I need to see a clear title, or we need to see a clear title before we move on. If the title, because tell them, hey, me and you, we're looking at the property right now, right? We're looking at it. We can look at it physically, like, hey, it looks a little cracked here or there, but otherwise maybe it's fully renovated. I don't see any issues. But does it have any title issues? Does it have issues with the other people trying to say that this is my property, or if there was any open permits or violations or any of that nature? We're going to find that out through a title company. Okay, who's going to order that title? Your attorney is going to order that title. Okay, why don't we do survey in the beginning stages? Because the deal can fall through. I want you to do a survey all during the last minute, right? Because this way I just want to make sure that if there are any issues before the closing, we solve that. But I need to know whatever, if I'm buying a 40 by 100 lot size, I need to verify that it is actually 40 by 100 lot size. Okay. Insurance agent, when do they come in, right? How can they protect you or that property? So the home insurance does not only have the dwelling coverage, it has your personal liability too. If somebody falls right in front of your house, snowed, and you did not clean up or you did not shovel, and somebody slipped and fell, and they're suing you for $500,000, your home insurance is going to cover that. So if you want to be an expert, all these 9 parties that are involved in here, you need to know everything inside out, and you have to tell them before you even show them one property. So this is the whole point of this presentation, is to tell your client, hey, this is going to be the process. Even I'm bringing you so much value, even if you don't want to work with me today, hopefully with this much knowledge that I'm giving you, that you feel confident that I'm a professional and you're going to come back to me. Okay. And if you guys have any issues or any common questions, search online or ask me. This is the reason that we're here. We want you to be an expert on this, and I feel like you guys can really do this and present yourself well. Okay, so tell them, hey, what are the steps that it actually takes? The first, we told you who's involved. Now we want to tell you, hey, what is the process going from budgeting all the way up to moving into the property, right? So we're not going to go through all 14 of them, but you have to tell your client, hey, you have to budget, you have to get a pre-approval. We're going to find your property, we're going to put in an offer, we're going to negotiate. We're going to make sure that the home inspection is done well. If everything goes well, we're going to go under contract. Your, buyer's attorney is going to order the title report. And once we have that fully executed contract, your lender, your loan officer is going to give you conditions. It's going to give you different conditions. Hey, I need you to satisfy this, that, whatever that list is, you need to clarify that as quickly as possible. And if we agreed on any contingencies, we need to finalize those. Right? If there was any repairs that needs to be done at a property, they need to be, be done before the closing. Once we hear the word clear to close, I'm going to go ahead and do a final walkthrough, and then you're going to be at the closing day. At the closing table, you need to tell them what they have to bring, who can come, bring in the certified checks, who's going to give them those certified checks amounts, who's the checks payable to. All that good stuff is going to come on the closing day. And once that is done, then they're going to move in. So you have to take a journey with your client. Hey, you're a first time home buyer. I know you have no clue about buying a house, but me being a professional as a realtor, I'm going to show you from level 1 all the way up to level 14 how you're going to move into that property. So after your presentation, they feel so confident that they have no problem signing your agreement. Okay? And the agreement is right in your transaction desk. Exclusive right to represent agreement. Please use that and have them sign it. Okay? All right, guys. Any questions, concerns on this so far, guys? So if you need your presentation, please come to the office or just schedule a meeting with me. Your head, your first page, your presentation should have your phone number, your photo, just like your business card, basically on the first on the first page. Okay, guys. Social media, some of you guys are doing an excellent job. I've been paying attention to some of your guys' accounts and everything is in compliance. Some of you guys do not have that, so for those, I'm talking to you guys on one-on-one. If I'm seeing any issue, I'll send you a private message and I will ask you to take down a couple of listings, and some of you guys already have done that, so thank you for that. But just make sure, simple rule, to have your logos, have the company name and the company address, small font on every post that you actually post. If you need your social media artwork, it's part of your realtor tools, right? You're going to click on social media artwork, and then you see the company logo, you see the equal housing opportunity, and you right click and you save as image. Okay. All right, guys, all of you guys are experienced here, so I'm going to go through this, but anybody watching this recorded later on, I just want you to have 5 of these tabs open on daily basis. You don't have to leave them open all the time, but at least open them once a day, all these 5. KV Core, see what's going on with your clients, if there's any new properties. If you have 0 solid clients, I would pay attention just to the listings. Hey, which area I want to serve? Is there any new properties on that market? Right? My transaction desk, I want to see, hey, if there's any documents that needs to be filled out or needs signatures, I want to pay attention to that. It literally takes 2 to 3 minutes. On MLS, I want to see if there's any expired listings, or if I want to see, what commission I'm going to be making. That's going to be gone in the long run, but for now, you guys can still use that. Your emails and your Teams, Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is the only way that I can get in touch with directly. If you don't want to go through the office phone, just send me a message or call me on Microsoft Teams, and I'm very active there because that's where I'm communicating throughout the whole day. Right? If you're trying to reach through the 516 number, I do not get that call on my cell phone anymore. Okay? All right, guys. I just want to always end with this because this is something to remember. It's a numbers game, right? Our real estate is definitely a numbers game. We have to work, put in enough hours. Sometimes some of you guys are putting a lot of 40 plus hours with our experienced agents, and some of you guys are not even putting in 4 hours, right? If you're watching this recorded midnight later on, big ups to you. That is hours going to be counted against this, this is a real estate activity, because you're getting to know what are the interest rates, what are the headlines, what are some loan programs. You're learning with this video, hopefully. But it's 168 hours in a week, guys. How many are you actually spending on real estate activity? Just answer that honestly to yourself and increase it next week. Okay. All right, guys, that will do it from my end. Any questions, concerns before we get going? No, guys. All right. Thank you so much for joining, guys. I will see you guys next time. You guys take care, right?